little doubt that crime has reached crisis level in this country. It seems that every day the incidents of unlawful killings and murder are becoming more and more gruesome. The reports of the condition in which these victims meet their demise indicate a level of violence in our society which offends our human sensibilities. However, the rate and the frequency of these events has led to what appears to be a desensitizing of our people. The victims of these heinous crimes do not conform to any particular class, creed, status, or social standing. We have seen them from every strata of our society. Recently, the harrowing death of Marco Archer, God rest his soul, caused a great deal of outrage, and rightfully so. We wondered what had become so broken about our society that a small boy on his way to a shop could be so brutally assaulted and killed. Like the cases of so many murders in this year, Marco's death got our attention for only a while, and we rose for a very brief moment from our apparent desensitization to the outrageous number of murders plaguing our once peaceful country. Likewise, in recent times, the gruesome murders of several women in our country is cause for much concern. The senseless slaughter of unarmed, defenseless women demonstrates a brokenness in our country and in our society which should not be ignored. It is for this reason that the women in leadership roles in the Progressive Liberal Party find it necessary today to be the voice of the many women who in 2011 were victims of violent acts, and especially those who died at the hands. Many died at the hands of men who they loved. The country now has and laments murders 117 and 118, both female victims, whose bodies were found bloodied, lifeless, and abandoned. These women are more than just numbers and statistics. They have names, they have family members, they have children. In many cases, they have relatives far and wide. All of these people left to mourn and to question, what is it that we have become as a society? They leave behind stories of lives, although cut short, that mattered to someone somewhere. Today, we in the Progressive Liberal Party, we women and men, supported here by Dr. Kendall Major, we pause to honor these women. Their deaths revive that awful feeling and threatened security as women that we felt on March 13th of this year when we awoke to the news of a 14-year-old schoolgirl killed by a stray bullet on Amaryllis Avenue, Garden Hills, number 1, subdivision. We read of Nellie Mae Brown, a former president of the Bahamas Heart Association, who was stabbed and hacked to death in an alleged domestic conflict in April of this year. We pause and we think of the shock wave of the brutal deaths of Denise Adderley, who was shot 6 times while inside her car at Texaco service station, Wolf and Kemp Road. And we think of Shandy Cartwright, who was killed by who is alleged to be her ex-boyfriend on Adelaide Beach. These stories spread throughout our country. The PLP recognizes and knows that in order for our country to move forward, safety of its citizens is key, and it's absolutely the most important and foremost thing that governance requires. We have come up with a plan, Project Safe Bahamas. This is our plan to tackle crime, inclusive of violent crimes against women. And we offer several measures which, when implemented, will highly improve the likelihood of survival among women threatened by violence. Firstly, our pledge through partnerships with churches and civic organizations to provide safe havens throughout our communities will provide a way of escape for women in abusive situations, whether the threat is immediate or whether it is ongoing. Our plan will also ensure that rape victims in particular can expect that their perpetrators will be quickly caught, quickly tried, and sentenced. We want to remove these people from our streets. Through our Swift Justice Initiative, we will ensure that those who prey upon the weaker in our society will be severely punished and are not given the leeway to become repeat or serial offenders. And finally, to reduce the likelihood of what happened to Denise Adderley and to others who were senselessly gunned down, to reduce the likelihood of that happening again to some other woman, the PLP reiterates our position on gun interdiction and gun penalties for the possession or use of high-powered weaponry. We will strengthen Border Patrol to interdict the transshipment of illegal firearms in and through our country. And more strongly, we are warning even now that those found in possession of illegal firearms shall not have an option to be heard in a magistrate's court, but their matters shall be heard in the Supreme Court, where the penalty is far stiffer. As women who wished to speak on behalf of the Bahamian electorate in Parliament, we feel that it is necessary to lead in the charge to make a clarion call against all forms of violence, but most especially violent acts perpetrated on women and children. To not do so and to remain silent and to sit idly, we feel would be in itself a violence by omission. We wish to announce today that the female leadership of the Progressive Liberal Party regards this national crisis as imperative. It is as imperative as the charge led to secure women's right to vote. This is how serious we regard this matter. PLP women fought for and attained in the early 1960s that right to vote. We see it as our most urgent call and our most relevant political mission in the 21st century Bahamas. In response, we alert all women, civic, religious, and political organizations that the female element, the women in leadership roles in our party, will now be forging a partnership among us and with the wider community to set the agenda of curbing the scourge of crime against women. Thank you.